Good morning, Raptors freak. Alexiot here. Saturday morning. The Raptors have been off for a couple days, giving a couple of days of rest because they're just about to start a crazy week, y'all. Today, Saturday, starting from today, they're going to play 5 out of the next 7 days. They're only going to get tomorrow and Wednesday off till next Saturday. 5 games in 7 days. This is crazy. So that's where I'm starting with this is that this is the first game of a stretch that is really condensed with a lot of games in it. And it's going to be important for the Raptors to play well and get off the right foot on this. Now, tonight is going to be interesting. We're playing our second game against the Miami Heat. We're in South Beach today. And they played last night. They played against the Clippers last night, and it was a close game at the end. They were beating them pretty good the whole game. And then the Clippers made a real surge to come back. They've been lately doing this, the Clippers, with Luke Kennard hitting these threes late at the end of games and trying to win games. Well, Miami was able to hold them off, but they had to give them a really strong effort throughout the whole game last night. So I hope that their fatigue from last night can carry over into the game tonight against the Raptors, because we're going to, it's always good to get some sort of like advantage no matter what. And the fact that they're on the second night of a back-to-back tonight, and we've had 2 days off, that means that it's really important for us to obviously start the game really well. This is an Achilles heel for the Raptors at times recently, where we let the other team get into a double-digit lead very early in the game, and we're coming from behind. And we don't want to do that tonight. We want to come out strong and not flat just because we've been off for 2 days or something like that. We need a rhythm right away, and we need to do well. Now, Fred VanVleet's status for the game today is looking pretty good. Like I said, I didn't think he was that hurt, and I was surprised that he missed the game in Chicago. But yesterday, he practiced fully with the team, even though he's listed as questionable for today. I fully expect Fred to play tonight. Now, on the other side of things, Miami's still got some pretty important injuries or absences. Kyle Lowry is still not with the team for personal reasons. And it does have me worried that there is something very serious going on in his life that is awful, and that he really needs to take this time. And I think it has to do with his family and somebody in his family not doing well or something like that. We don't know. We shouldn't speculate too much, but just respect that the greatest Raptor of all time cannot probably play tonight again because of these personal issues that are ongoing with him. He's missed 7 games in a row because of this stuff. So, it must be something really big, and hopefully everything works out for Kyle as soon as possible. Now, looking at other injuries for Miami today, KZ Okpala is still out. Chris Silva and Markieff Morris is out also. So hopefully, this will be good. It's pretty much the same group that we saw the last time we played Miami. Very led by Bam and Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was day-to-day earlier this week, but he's fine. He played last night. Him and Bam were really the two cogs that really drove the Miami Heat team last night against the Clippers. Tyler Hero was not huge off the bench. It was more Gabe Vincent, their starting point guard right now, who's starting in the place of Lowry, had a good game also last night. So just in general with the Miami team, you need to do a couple things to beat them. And one of the most important things to beat Miami is to out-hustle, out-energy, and outplay them. That is really one of the best things that they do. That their calling card is scrappiness, is getting after the loose balls, getting after the rebounds, just being annoying and being a pest. And we're similar. We can be the same kind of team as them. It's just that whether we have like dead spots with our offense or we just have lapses of judgment on our defense and mess up. But when we're really clicking and we're rotating well, we're covering really well, we can be very stifling. And in the last game we played against Miami, there was a stretch in the middle of the game, I think it was in the second quarter, where we absolutely sealed them off. There wasn't anything they could do. I think we held them from scoring for like 5 minutes of the game almost. And you could tell that Spoelstra was panicking. Spoelstra was worried because his team was getting dominated by the Raptors. And this can happen again. We can replicate this again. It's just that we need to play absolutely perfect defense that is just absolutely shut it down. Nobody's doing nothing. And if we can get that going again for a longer period of time in this game tonight, we will be very successful against the Miami Heat. I saw the light in the first game against Miami that they're in trouble when they play us. Because listen, one of their strengths, as I said, is their energy and hustle and scrappiness. Well, if you do that with a team that does the same kind of output of energy and scrappiness and hustle, except they're taller than you on average, you will beat them. And that is the difference between the Miami Heat and the Toronto Raptors. Now, they have the veteran advantage, obviously, the experience advantage, but we really do have the size advantage on the down low. That Miami is an undersized team. That's a little dirty little secret that nobody wants to say, but they're an undersized team that can be subjugated to bigger guys messing them up, whether it's in the paint. Like last night, the Clippers completely dominated the paint, and they were getting but the Heat with their energy out rebounded them. So it's these kind of battles that we really need to win tonight. If we can win the battle in the paint, we can win the rebounding battle, that'd be great. And the other area that they do really well in is shooting, obviously. Miami's a really good shooting team, and we're not. So if we can have any kind of success equaling their shooting or just being as good or maybe better, then we should win this game for sure too. So we really need a good, strong effort right away, a sound offense that's clicking and getting baskets and matching them. But I really like our chances tonight. Like if our coaches are smart and they look at the game tape from the first game against them, they will see that there's signs there that they could really exploit. That there are things about this Miami team that can be exploited and that we need to really, really execute and use them. All right, let me see what you guys are saying so far this morning. Callie, good morning. Always good to see you every morning, Callie. It is kind of bugs me that Goran is living the life. I haven't seen Goran. I'm shutting him out like he's on a media blackout for me. I do not care what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, there's some speculation that he's going through a divorce right now, Callie, and that's part of the reason why he's not with the team for his personal reasons is that he's going through a divorce. And I don't know if he's as happy as we think he is. I think that he's a miserable wretch, actually, because honestly, his NBA career is in jeopardy right now. Like his not fitting in with our team and him sitting away for so long and this kind of stuff, there's no guarantees for him. And sure, Luka Doncic can go and talk to Mark Cuban this summer and say, hey, take care of my buddy and bring him in. And that's probably his escape, like his safety net. But for the most part, I think most teams have given up on him. I don't think the Miami Heat has given up on him. Like if he wanted to come back and play for the Miami Heat next season, I don't think they'd necessarily take him back because he's kind of their past. And he doesn't really make the quality of NBA player at his age at this point. Like part of the reason why he didn't work on our team is he may be too old to play in the league now because he looked really slow and all this kind of stuff. So if he's living some sort of great Miami life, good for him. But I bet you he's pretty depressed right now, honestly, and that he has a lot of things that he's got to figure out. And maybe he's transitioning into his post-NBA career very soon. Yeah, he has to think about that. So anyway, Callie, I hope your stress level tonight is actually real good and not high. And we'll talk about it tomorrow on The Reaction. If Gary and Fred can shoot lights out, Pascal dissect the defense, and OG guard Butler, Barnes do the dirty work, Raps can do this. Yeah, I agree with this. I really think that players like Chris Boucher and Precious Achiuwa are huge for this game because they really are active, long, lengthy guys that can do a lot of issues that are problems. Obviously, we got to try and shut down Bam. We got to try and limit their three-point shooting guys, that three-headed monster of Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, and Tyler Hero. We cannot let these guys go off on the outside. And we let them do that a little bit too much in the last game than I would have liked. Like, I don't want to see a Max Strus 3. I don't want to see Duncan Robinson get to double digits. And I definitely don't want to see Tyler Hero do anything like what he did in the last game against us. So it's really watching those three-point shooters and trying to contain Bam Adebayo. And Jimmy Butler's going to do what Jimmy Butler does. We just have to be very aware of what he's doing and where he is out there as his veteran presence and just trying to change the game and win the game for his team. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough test as usual. But once again, this is the kind of thing where at the beginning of the game, Fred and Nick Nurse talk to the guys and they say, look, we've played them once already and they beat us. We need to even this up. So there's going to be some good motivation to even up the series and to also, this is an advantageous situation for the Raptors. Even though Miami's at home, they played last night and we're coming in fresh with 2 days off. And they got a good practice in yesterday from what I'm hearing in Miami. So this all bodes well for us to have hopefully a good effort, but they really need to key on how they start the game and make sure they don't come out unprepared. They need to be prepared and come right into this game strong and fast and take control of it, because it's much better for us to be playing ahead of Miami, possibly blowing them out, and then to be behind them trying to catch up to them, because they do a good job of holding teams off from trying to come back when they have a lead. So we really need to watch that out. True, the length can give them problems. It really did in the last game. Like I said, there were times in that first game against Miami where we looked really dominant just specifically because of our length. And we've seen that against a few teams recently, but Miami was one of them. And hopefully we can replicate that over a longer period of the game and have some huge success because of it. Graham, good morning, man. Alexi, what's the latest injury report for both teams? Okay, let me just go over it for Graham real quick. I kind of alluded to it a little bit. Graham, listen, Fred VanVleet's been out for the last 2 games. He practiced fully yesterday, so I fully expect Fred to be available and play tonight. So that's pretty much it on our side. I mean, Kem's still out, obviously, and David Johnson is still on protocols, and Goran is being Goran. Who knows? Maybe Goran will be at the game tonight. I mean, that'd be kind of funny to see his stupid ass show up to the game tonight. But that's on our side. On the other side, Kyle Lowry's still out for personal reasons. I do not expect to see Kyle Lowry in the arena again tonight. Markieff Morris is out also. He's still kind of trying to get back from the Jokic hit and the different things that happened from that. It's really crazy, like how long he's been out because of that shove. And I don't know if this is kind of like one of those people that gets in a little fender bender where somebody taps their bumper in the back and they throw a thing around their collar and say whiplash. This could be a little bit of embellishment by Morris with his injuries just to try and get Jokic in trouble legally or something like that. Because, like, honestly, when I saw that shove, I understand he's a big guy and he pushed him, but this happened like 2 or 3 months ago, guy. And you're really milking it at this point. I don't know if you got some sort of like fancy lawyer and you're going to try and go after him somehow, some way, that way. I don't know what's going on with Morris. Either way, I'm glad he's not going to probably play tonight because he's a goon. He's annoying. Other than that, they're really secondary players. Other than that are out for Miami. Oladipo, as of course, is still out for them. Okapala and Chris Silva. Those are the other 2 names on their injury list right now. Of course, these things can all change as the day goes on, Graham. We could hear that people get added to the injury list for either team or people come back. Like Kyle Lowry, I mean, it'd be mystifying and crazy, but if he did come back tonight, it could happen, but I don't think it will. It's probably less likely that Kyle will be playing tonight. So that's pretty much what I see with the injuries for tonight. So it's the same kind of teams that were matched up, except I think we were missing guys the last time we played them. We didn't have Gary, I believe, when we played them the first time. So we should have a little bit more of an advantage. And, for our guys, I really want to see Fred have a good leadership game if he is back tonight. Gary to continue his hot streak. OG and Pascal to continue to just really have nice success because the floor is spread out because of guys like Fred and Gary. And then, we get some good energy, rebounding, hustle, tough plays out of those 3 big guys, Chris Boucher, Precious Achiuwa, and Birch isn't playing, but any of those big guys. And if we get anything from these bench guys, like I think Banton should be able to get some time tonight because he's been playing so well recently. The other guys I'm not so sure about. Like if we need to plug them in or use them situationally for some reason, sure. But otherwise, that's that. Raps cannot let the Heat act tough. Teams play the Raps very physical. So, yeah, that's the tough thing. And that's the balance. And that is one of the areas where we get shafted. Literally, because the referees will let Miami Heat, mug us. Do a lot of physical things and they won't get called. And then at the other end, OG may get touch fouls called on him and stuff like that. It's tough. It's just, like I said, the part of the terrain, they have to expect that they may get unfairness from the refs in the game today between the scrappiness of Miami and the scrappiness of us. And that's just unfortunate. But that's never like truly an excuse for them for why they lost. Sure, it's unfair, but we're used to it. It's the baseline of what we expect. and we just play through the bullshit and we try and overcome it all. Because this is the thing, some of these games that we lose is partly because of that bullshit compounded with these are playoff teams that are experienced and good teams. But also we find success and overcome all that shit sometimes, like where it's like we can beat the team even though they're more experienced and stuff like that. We can beat the refs even though they're helping them. That's what I'm saying. We got to be that good. We got to be that good that we can beat all of it all together. Marlon Toby, good morning, man. We got to make those free throws. It is very, very important, especially in tight games. I completely agree, man. Marlon, you were singing the number one hit on the Raptors Freak radio station right now. Hit your free throws. They're free for a reason. Like seriously, these guys missed 11 free throws last game, and they lost the game by 6 points. I mean, you can't have this kind of stuff happen because we work so hard out there, and the free throws really are our payment for getting beat down and getting all the physicality for so many times. Because every free throw we get, might as well, Raptors, consider it a free throw for like 5 or 3 fouls that you've been getting, 2 that are not called and 1 that you're getting, where you need to really make that point count. Because this is the thing. And I understand you guys are getting hit so hard physically. You have to collect yourself with your body because you just got smacked. And that's part of the reason why you miss it. But it really is concentration, taking the time to collect yourself at the line and using your routine, using your regular routine that is successful, that you'll make your free throws on. And that was our subject yesterday in the Raptor Freak Trivia. We were talking about the leaders of free throw percentage in the history of the Raptors franchise and who are the Raptors leaders and not so good free throw shooters on the team right now. And it was a big talk yesterday, free throws. And I completely agree with you, Marlon. If we have a better effort at the free throw line tonight, that will help us ensure hopefully a Raptor victory. Kenny, good morning. Always good to see you, my friend. I like that we are rested and practiced. Yes, this is a huge advantage that, the Clippers will wear a team out. And they had to play the Clippers last night. They were cruising for most of the game and beating them by double digits, but the Clippers made a late surge and made them have to close out the game with a hard effort. And hopefully that will show some fatigue in them late in the game today. So, but this is the thing. Nick Nurse would be smart to use a little bit more of a rotation tonight, at least 8 or 9 guys. Don't do this 6 guy, 7 guy bullshit you've been doing lately. Use more of your guys so that maybe we can really get them in fatigue problems. And if we can start doing some of the stuff we've been talking about this week about directing fouls at other guys on the other team, like having OG and Pascal directly go to guys like Bam Adebayo or Jimmy Butler and get them in foul trouble, that could really be successful and helpful to a Raptors victory also. So, yeah, I'm really happy that they're rested, but it's a double-edged sword, Kenny, because, sometimes we sit around and we come back too flat, or we don't come back in the right rhythm right away, and it takes us some time to get going. And I hate that. I want our Raptors to come ready to go when you open the package. And that game starts, the jump ball happens. We need to be ready to go, and you can't just ease into the game. You got to go all out right away, and that's hopefully what will happen. That they'll go out right away and they won't be like resting on the rolls or not in a good rhythm because they've been off for 2 days. Sometimes it's better to play like in a row. So, and we've done well on second nights of back-to-backs ourselves when we've had to play them recently. And, Miami's that kind of team that they'll try and do their best no matter what, night in, night out. Graham, really want to see more Banton. Yeah. He's been such a pleasant surprise all year. When we first drafted him, when he first came in, I really thought he'd be a 905er for sure and not really do a whole lot on the main roster. Like, in fact, I thought he'd be more like David Johnson has been for us this year, but he has been much further and better, fully exceeding expectations of mine for this year. And he's ahead of schedule, honestly. Like his physical size with what he can do with the ball dribbling wise is going to make him have a long NBA career. And I'm excited to see how he develops. And once again, it's so nice to have a Torontonian on the team and playing for Toronto, the first ever Torontonian on the Toronto Raptors. And it's a heavy mantle to carry, but he's holding it well and he's doing great. And he has the understanding and perspective that I wish most fans have, that his journey is a long journey. that this is something that's not going to happen overnight for him, that he's got to take the time and put in the work for a few years, and then he could realize a different level of player that he could become. And he's seen the blueprint with Pascal Siakam, with Chris Boucher, and different people like that, Fred VanVleet, and he wants to mimic them with their career paths, with their development at the 905 level, and to become a really good pro. And he's going to be successful because, first of all, he has the talent, the gifts, he has the right head on his shoulders, and he's on the right team that will set him up to succeed. So I'm really excited about Delano also, Graham. All right, guys. It's just a preview. I don't ever really have to go too long on these things. I mean, I guess I could do a little bit of NBA news kind of stuff. The coaches are voting today on the All-Star reserves. So we will find out in the next couple of days whether our guys are going to get to go to Cleveland for the All-Star game. For me, I'm always on the fence. I mean, if we get shafted and we don't get any respect, then you know what? So what? Who cares? We get more time off. Our guys get to rest, especially with what's going on with our schedule, with it all condensed because of the postponed games. I wouldn't be that upset if they didn't pick our guys just because they'd get rest. And that's a strategic reason. Obviously, I want them to pick them because, they need the respect and they deserve it. But if, that's the way you got to look at it. You got to make yourself have no lose scenarios where you can't lose either way. If they make it, that's fantastic. We're so happy for them. They get to go and be a part of it. Fred is an all-star for the first time in his career. Pascal, hopefully a second time in his career. But if they don't, then we go on the slant where, you know what, we're glad because they get to rest. They get to go to the beach. They get to spend time with their families, and they don't have to go and do all the bullshit that the NBA makes all the all-stars go through. Because being an all-star is not a break. That's the difference. That's the thing. Being an all-star is not a break. You don't get a rest, really. You get a little bit of days at the end between when they resume the season. But for the most part, you're working the whole time through, and it doesn't feel like you're getting rest. In fact, it can be more stressful than good. So that's the double-edged sword with it. We can hope and pray that they make it, and, they probably will. One of them is probably going to be on the all-star team for sure, if not both of them. But, we'll see what happens. Our record isn't as good as it should be to get to. So it's really looking like if it is going to be somebody, it's going to be Fred. Because Fred needs to get it the first time, honestly. And him getting a 54-point game last year and not making it last year, he's kind of like, that's the way it happens sometimes. These near-miss all-stars, when they near-miss one year, they usually get in the next year if they've had a consistent effort since that has shown all-star level kind of play. And Fred has definitely done that in this season. So if he whiffed it last year, he should get it this year for sure. And, Pascal deserves it too also. But once again, they allot maybe one spot to a team like us that's at 500. They're not going to give us 2 all-stars probably. That's just the reality of it. Anyway, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate everybody watching my dumb ass every morning talking crazy stuff. I mean, I'm so passionate about the Raptors. I love the Raptors. I'll be here every day between 9 and 11 a.m. Some point in some time doing a live stream talking about it. You guys can talk to me about any daily Raptors news, things happening. Tomorrow, reaction to the Miami game. Hopefully it's a good reaction, and we can have a nice long hour where we talk about the joyous victory of the Raptors over the Miami Heat in their second game against them this season, tying up the season series 1-1, and the Raptors just having an awesome game. All right, y'all. Have a great Saturday. It's sunny in Toronto. Maybe get outside and get a good walk, something like that. I appreciate y'all so much. Let's go Raptors. Let's beat the Heat, baby. Beat the Heat. Beat the Heat. Woo!